here, guys. And once we get started, we'll mute the chat. We'll post all the socials here, and as always, we're gonna have some time towards the second half when we're gonna take some questions from the community. So if you're interested, if you hear something you like, just stick around, and we'll try to get to you.
Oh yeah, I can see Perry. Perry, how's it going? Oh, maybe he's just getting a glass of water. To go, so we'll just get everyone into the VC.
Yeah, we can give it another minute. And Perry, if you're here, unmute your mic so we can do some sound check and all that. And if you're gonna share some screens, we can test that out as well. I don't know if he's here or just waiting for us to do the warm up, but yeah, just give us another minute or two here, guys, and we'll get started.
Hi guys, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Perry. Yeah, it's coming through good.
I'm having a nightmare. Having a nightmare with a Telegram on the laptop at the moment, so I've had to jump on my phone.
Oh right, cool. Yeah, sometimes
It
it happens with Telegram. It's been buggy today, I think.
Yeah, I kind of heard the music jumping in and out, and I thought that's not normal. Got on my phone and it's fine, so I think it's one of them days with Telegram.
Definitely. Right, so if you're ready, Perry, I can start the record and introduce you, and we can go into the Save Totoro's Forest project.
That's absolutely perfect with myself.
Welcome to the WellCoin Talk community. I'm Glenn, your host today. And we have joining us Perry from Save Totoro's Forest project. I've been looking into the project, so I'm super excited today. It's forest preservation, so I'm quite a conservationist sort of person myself, and so there's a quite a high focus of on charities around forest preservation we can go into shortly, and that ties into the P2E game. There's lots of charity aspects there, which is probably unique, or I've not seen it here before, so I'm super excited to jump into the project shortly. But first, can you introduce yourself with your background and experience, Perry, and maybe the core team's background as well?
Yeah, my name's Perry. I've been in crypto. Well, first got into crypto back in 2011. Unfortunately, didn't hold any of them coins from back then. Kind of got back into it about 4 or 5 years ago, and sort of been building since. Been working with teams, doing more sort of community work with groups, that kind of thing. The team's got quite a lot of experience. We've got Orc Dev, also known as Cash Money Dev, and in real life known as Dan. He's the deployer, designed the contract, and is in charge of that kind of things. He's been around for quite a while. Worked on a lot of big projects, things like Zelda in You, and Baby Lambo in You, and a lot of others. So he's quite used to sort of getting high scores on Certex and getting good audit scores, making perfect contracts and ensuring they deploy properly. And then the other co-owner is Mask, also known in real life as Dimitri. He's got a lot of experience. Started off in startup companies, tech companies, that kind of thing. Then moved into crypto a few years back. Has worked on quite a few projects himself as well. So we've kind of got all the bases covered there. And the rest of the team cover things like the game and game design, gameplay, and that kind of thing.
Okay, great, Perry. Thanks for the introduction. Maybe we can start for the community investors with an introduction to the Save Totoro's Forest project.
It started off, it was obviously we've all got a love of crypto, but we've all got a passion about the environment, the climate, deforestation, and that kind of thing. So it come around of talking about sort of, with especially, I don't know if you're from the UK, Europe, there's a lot of at the moment protesting about the way the environment's going, sort of people gluing themselves to roads, sort of throwing things at photos, a lot of disruption going on. But it is a good point to think about that the planet's not how it used to be. We are destroying the forest at an alarming rate. We are sort of forcing a lot of animals near to the extinction point. So we wanted to find a way of not how to stop it whilst disrupting people's general life, but how can we actually make something where people are going to profit by actually benefiting the environment? And that's when we decided that a charity coin with a great play to earn game with a great donation feature could be the way forward. So we sort of got together, started talking about ways this could work. And we also have a love for the old anime and the manga kind of thing, which is where the Save Totoro Forest come from. Obviously, that shares a big view with the way we look at things, especially the studio. A lot of their films, a lot of their products are in the same sort of space as ourselves, on about how humanity can actually work alongside the environment for the benefit of everyone. So we thought the tie-in was fantastic. Obviously, the artwork also is fantastic. So that's where the passion and the project come from.
Okay, great, Perry. And yeah, so can we get maybe some details about the Team Trees charity that you're working with, and also the World Wildlife Fund, and how it sort of works and ties in with the game? We can go into the game shortly, but yeah, so by playing the game, you can actually, raise money for a very important charities here.
Yes, at the moment, and the two main charities we're working with and we'll be donating to are the WWF and Team Trees. Obviously, WWF doesn't need a great introduction. They do some fantastic work across the whole spectrum for wildlife. And that's from ensuring habitats aren't destroyed, ensuring habitats are rebuilt, ensuring that sort of animals don't go extinct. And they work across a great number of things. So, for the wildlife side, we are at the moment working with the WWF and provide them donations as the coin grows. And the other side is Team Trees. I'm not sure if many people know that. It's Mr. Beast, a YouTuber. It's his project, which is a great project. It's also really good for the crypto because they actually accept crypto donations. That's about planting trees around the world. Obviously, the trees are the lungs of the earth. Without trees, there's no oxygen, and we are pulling them down at an alarming rate. So we're working alongside Team Trees, who are actually planting trees across the world and get sort of trying to stop deforestation.
Awesome, Perry. Yeah, I think Team Trees have planted 21 million trees. When did they sort of start, and what sort of crypto did they expect? Did they accept?
At the moment, oh, sorry about that. I just double checking to make sure I'm not getting wrong. At the moment, I believe it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, obviously USDC. I believe they also accept Avalanche, Apecoin, and BAT, Dogecoin. Obviously, that's a big one. A lot of people accept now. Polkadot. I'll get the whole Litecoin. I'll get the whole list up because there's only sort of I know tip, but they accept a lot. So yeah, they accept Zcash, XTZ, US dollar Tether, Uniswap, Sol, SHIB, Saber, Matic, as I said, Litecoin, Chainlink, Graft, Filecoin, Polkadot and Doge we spoke about, BAT, DAO, and AVAX. So there's a lot of coins they accept.
Oh, that's awesome, Perry. So is he a big advocate for crypto? Is that why he did that, or he just wanted to branch out? Because if you do donate in crypto, it's tax deductible as well.
With Mr. Beast, he's quite a smart man, so I imagine the tax deductible and the fact people aren't paying tax, it probably did have a factor towards it. But he was also pro crypto. He's been involved in a few crypto projects in the past, and he is a believer in the crypto space. So it's kind of two things tied into one there. Obviously, you can never overlook the tax side of it, but I believe it's making it more accessible for people as well. He understands a lot of people in crypto do like to use crypto. So by accepting donations in crypto, it's kind of raising his awareness as well because people are like, oh, if I can give some Doge over to that, I'll do it that way.
Okay, awesome, Perry. And can we go into the P2E game? I was playing it the other day. It's really cool. It's built on the Unity game engine, very, very smooth graphics, very fast flowing game. And yes, can we go into the gameplay for the community investors?
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I'm not on the laptop. Obviously, I said a few problems with that. Otherwise, I would put up some gameplay because I believe the looks of that, it looks fantastic. It plays fantastic. But more importantly, it also keeps to the charity donation and the charity feel. So obviously, it's a kind of Subway Surfer style game, temple run style, where you have to run, dodge obstacles, beat enemies as you go along and collect acorns. Sorry, and the more acorns you collect, the more you do earn. And what I love about this is the fact that it's not just about earning money for yourself. Just by playing the game, even if you want to take money out yourself, you're still giving to the charity. So with that, for example, once you've completed your gameplay, if you decide, okay, I want to collect that money out and I want to withdraw it to my wallet, you do have that option. And what happens is you'll receive 40% of the tokens yourself, with 10% going towards tax and 50% going towards the charity. So even if you decide to keep the money yourself, you do still give that charity donation. There is the other option where you can donate 90% of your earnings to charity. So you've had fun, you've played the game, and then you decide, in fact, I don't actually need the money myself. It hasn't cost me anything to play this game. Just a few hours of my time. I've enjoyed myself. I want to donate that to charity, and that will 90% of that will go to charity. So that'll go to be split between Team Trees and the WWF.
Awesome, Perry. And yeah, I was playing, and she does a cool like Sonic the Hedge type roll where she curls up the ball for attacks and ducking under obstacles, and then you can jump and you're moving around. So yeah, how does the sort of mechanics of the game work?
Mechanic wise, I'm not the best person to ask on how it's built. I'm not going to lie. I can tell you how to play it. I can tell you what it does, but the engineering of that is a bit above my pay grade. I'm useless at building things myself. But basically, it's kind of like a combination of the Subway Surfer, Sonic the Hedgehog, the general runner kind of games. So the whole idea is you're running, you're kind of dodging the obstacles. You've got the options to roll, attack, jump and clear, and then obviously the movement. And it's all
Awesome. Yeah.
designed to look just like. Oh, sorry, God.
Sorry. Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say it's all designed in the same theme as the same Proto Forest, and that kind of whole look. So we're keeping with that vibe even in the gameplay.
Awesome. And I was reading like if you don't complete a level, the rewards get burned, so that's supporting the token price. So you've looked at the economics, but built into the game to support the sell pressure on the token. If some people decided to sell, but some would give it to the charity. So yeah, I mean the breakdown of that is you can donate the rewards to Team Trees. That would be 40% that the player gets from the P2E, and then the other 60% of the P2E goes to the charity wallet. Well, no, you were saying it's 50%, so there's 10% tax. And what's the 10% tax used for? Is it like buyback and burns, marketing plans, or promoting the game?
Yeah, the tax 3% will go to charity. So even on the 50%, the charity still get the 3% of the tax that ends up 53%. And then 3% will go towards marketing, 2% goes towards liquidity to keep the coin as stable as we can. And then 1% goes towards future developments. That's more developments in the game and more developments in the project itself. So something like the future NFTs and just the longevity of the project.
So on the website, you've got weekly competitions and leaderboards. So yeah, you're going to have like prizes for the top players in the game.
Yeah, we will be doing weekly, monthly competitions and also spot daily competitions, things like that as we go along. So obviously the best in the week, whoever's got the highest combined score or the highest score, depending on what we decide that week, that month, will be winning prizes.
Oh, sorry.
And the prizes obviously will. Oh, sorry. Obviously, when they collect them prizes as well, some of that will also go towards the charity. And we hope, obviously, the winners will decide to do a little bit themselves as well. But that is always on the individual.
Okay, great, Perry. And you also, you put, at the moment it's free to play, so that's great. Everyone can trial it out before the fair launch. And you've got purchase characters with the STF token. So I was wondering how many tokens you need to buy them. How much would that be in sort of USD to get involved once the game goes live?
We haven't fully decided on the amount per character yet. We're going to look at how the coin launches and sort of what the base price is, what we sort of feel the floor price is on the coins before we decide exactly how much that's going to cost us. We want to keep it reasonable so that it's not one of these games where our smaller investors feel they're being held back. So we want to make sure that once the coins launch, we know roughly where the floor is and we can set a price then, which is fair to everyone.
Okay, great. And you've also got in-game purchases, I was reading on the white paper. So how does that work? So is that something where you can spend the tokens rather than you taking them out of the game and selling them?
Yeah, that'll be as you earn your acorns and as your in-game tokens. That'll be buying things like new skins, new clothes, new looks. That'll all be available for yourself. So if you decide not to bring them out, you can just use them in game to make it in game purchases to improve your character. There will be some boosts coming up in the future as well. So you can buy sort of your boosts, your levels up, that kind of thing.
And I was thinking this could attract a lot of people, that are new to crypto, with the charity focus, like we've talked about. And you've mentioned, people are following on Twitter and social media, and it's in the newspapers about people gluing themselves to paintings and all sorts of things. But a lot of the followers wouldn't be protesters, but they'd like to get involved. So if you were sort of had a shill army of Save Totoro's forest, around the charity aspect, then that could bring a huge amount of new crypto investors that have never used crypto before. So I'm wondering if you're going to have educational resources available for them.
Yeah, we are working on getting articles written up on sort of, obviously we want articles on the basics of crypto just so that new people can understand what it is, but also on how crypto can benefit the environment, on what our charities are doing and what the donations are doing, because we are looking at following a lot of this extinction revolution and ER on Twitter, on Facebook, and a lot of the offshoot and splinter groups, because at the moment, as you said, there is a lot of people following, and a lot of people might not agree with the methods being used at the moment, but they're looking at ways they can get involved. So we want to kind of draw them in to say, look, there is a pacifist way of actually doing this, and you don't have to spend a lot of your own money. You can just spend a few hours playing the game and then helping the charity that way. And then we're hoping to bring more people into crypto from that space as well, because obviously crypto is a growing thing at the moment, and there is a lot of people out there that just don't understand it. So we want to kind of bring people in on the charity aspect and then educate them on crypto, and hopefully we'll get a few new people in the crypto space and give them an understanding of what they're actually doing there and how it can actually be a benefit for the future.
Awesome, yeah. And Team Trees, I think I was looking at the website, it's only $1 to plant a tree. So, if we could get tens of thousands of players, we could have hundreds of thousands of trees, every month being planted. And I think they work all around the world, Europe, America, South America. Australia has lost 10% of their forests in 2020. I think it was December and January, where it was a huge bushfires, and California as well in the USA. So a lot of people, it's quite close to the heart to live in these areas as well, that they might want to get involved.
That's the thing. We are looking at also drawing maps. So as we plant these trees, we want to kind of be able to say, look, an area of this size, for example, an area of California, that's how many trees we planted so far. An area this size, sort of have a visual display as well, so people can actually, in their head, sort of make up this is what the change we're making.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's built into the game, which I really liked. I've not seen another game like that where there's a large percentage of the P2E tokens given to charity, and then for some people they might want to give the whole 90% towards charity, and yeah, and this could, if it gets to a level of like Axie Infinity, we could be planting tens of millions of trees around the world. So that's great. And is it going to be available on Google Play and iOS in the future?
Yeah, we are currently working on the Android version and the iOS version. They're just being finalised now, so that will be very soon. But we understand obviously the accessibility. If people can just download it on their iPhone, on their Android, it's going to bring it to a bigger market. So that is the plan, and we are just currently finishing that off now. But we wanted to get it on the website so people can have a little play around before it's fully launched.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it the other day, so I'm super excited for the launch of it. And how does the release of the tokens work for the charities? Is it like a monthly, quarterly release, and how will it affect? Will it, temporarily affect the charts when you have to sell them to buy USDT or another token to purchase the trees?
We will be doing that slowly. The donation will be monthly, but the coins won't be sold in one big lump. We will slowly do that, sort of checking the chart to make sure we're not actually dumping our own chart. So rather than say, for argument's sake, we've got $10,000 we need to release to the charity, rather than just dumping 10,000 at once, we will be doing that over the days, over the weeks, gradually, and just building that wallet up so that it doesn't impact the chart too heavily. Because the worst thing is doing a good thing, but you sort of put a massive red candle on the chart and start scaring people. So we want to do that gradually. building up to the end of the month, and at the end of the month say, here's our donation, this is what we've done this month.
I see, Perry. And how does the tokenomics break down and the buy and sell taxes?
The buy and sell is 9%. So that's 3% always goes to the charities. 3% will go towards marketing, 2% will go towards liquidity, and 1% goes towards future development. And we decided to keep the charity part of it as the highest because we wanted to always ensure that we're giving as much back as we can, because that is the sole sort of passion of the whole team.
Okay, awesome.
And then,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say the tokenomics, the breakdown. So the total supply is 600 million, and 35% of that goes towards pre-sale, and 19.95% will be added to liquidity. 13% will be put to one side for future burns. So we'll have strategic burns, celebration burns. So once we hit certain milestones and we want to celebrate, we'll burn a certain amount. That will come from the 13% for the burns. 7.4 is split between the team. 4.5 will be shared between influencers. So we're looking at getting on board Twitter influencers, YouTubers, actually not just putting your post up, but we want them part of the team and to constantly give updates to their communities. And then 5% is being put towards one side for the play to earn game.
Okay, great, Per. And I think there's an 8% of the tokenomics I've seen is for the team, and 12% was from a private sale. So is there a vesting period on the tokens from there?
Yeah, the private sale is vested, and the private sale will get 50% of their coins on launch, and then they get 25% every 5 days.
Okay, great.
So after 10 days,
sorry.
I was going to say after 10 days they will have their full allowance. The private sale is a shorter vesting period than the pre-sale, but that's because the private sale guys have been here since day one, and they are people that share the same vision, share the same passion, and we've got that kind of bond with them, that trust with them. They've been there since the beginning, so we wanted to show them that we trust them as much as they trust us.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, if they're conservationists, then they're going to want to support and play the game, and it's great for like I say, we could get retired people and pensioners coming in to play the game because they want to plant some trees and help sort of stabilize the planet in that way. So they're too old to sort of go on protest, but they do have a passion about these things and the future of the planet for the grandkids and things.
That is one of the great things. That's one of the great things as well, as keeping the entry, if you want to get into the basic level of the game, keeping that free. It does mean that even if you're retired or if you want to tie the budget, you can still get involved, still spend a few hours of your time and know you're doing good. So that can be sort of like university children, or not children, university people, should we say, because they're not children at 18, 19. And the retired people in countries where they haven't got the money but still want to put a donation in, they can just spend a few hours playing the game and then click the donate and give 90% of that away to the charity. So it kind of benefits everyone, really. It makes it easy to access rather than sort of keeping it where you can only do good if you've got a certain amount in your bank account. We want to make sure that everyone can actually get involved in this, no matter who you are, where you're from. There is a chance for you to actually help save the planet.
Awesome. Awesome, Perry. And like we said before, not completing a level, the rewards get burned. So is that based on the 13% you put aside of the tokenomics? So eventually 13% of the tokens will be burned, and it's going to support the price floor of the token.
Yes, correct. That'll go towards the 13% to just make sure we've got enough to burn. And it helps support the floor. But we also find that there is a lot of people that enjoy a burn. They sort of get excited when another burn's coming. So we're going to also use it to celebrate things. So, for example, when we've planted X amount of trees, we'll burn X amount of coins and things like that, just to keep people pushing to hit these goals and to get where we need to be on the actual charity side of things as well, by using the burn to help push that.
I see. And how many levels are there going to be in the game? And you're going to be adding more in the future as you go along.
Yeah, we're going to try to make that seamless so that it just keeps going and going and going as long as you're going to play. It shouldn't end.
And is it like sort of you're going to do an NFT series, so will it be like booster packs and special effects and special sort of moves from different characters in the game?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about the NFTs because I think the dev and the owner will kill me, but it is going to be things like new characters, new skins, new abilities will all be available by the NFT. So you might get sort of a new character pop up, which is going to be only available if you've got that NFT for that character, or a new skin for an existing character, as well as special abilities.
Awesome. And I see the teams KYC and doxed. Is that the full core team that's doxed and KYC'd?
Yeah, that's the full team. Everyone involved in that was one of the things that all can. Sorry, I've given them real. I'm so used to calling them by their Twitter handles, but Dan and Dimitri and the two owners, that was one thing they were very big on. If you want to be involved in this, you've got to be willing to put your face to this and put your name to this, which I think is fair enough. At the moment, there's too many people that hide behind kind of false names, false pictures. So I think if you want to actually prove that willing to do something good, you've got to be willing to say, this is me and this is what I believe. So everyone will be KYC'd and fully doxed.
Awesome. I mean, I think the game at the moment, it's got 2 characters, and then in the future, there's going to be about 8 to 10 characters you can choose from, and will each one have, like I say, different abilities and boosts.
Yeah, all have different abilities, different sort of tricks and things they can do, as well as different styles and looks. And then there will be obviously the booster NFTs and things as well. So there'll be a character to sort of suit every kind of person, and some a character that everyone's sort of drawn to. And there's a few coming up that we can't name yet, but there is quite a few nice ones as well. But the 2 at the moment kind of cover the main bases. But as we grow, there will be a lot more in that, and there will be a few special NFT only ones as well. So there'll be some very limited characters that people may get hold of.
Awesome. And how can community investors get involved? I think you've got a fair launch, should I say, coming up shortly in a couple of days.
Yes, correct. We've got the pre-sale fair launch is coming up on the 21st, and that starts at 5 p.m. UTC. And so I believe that'll be 12 o'clock EST, lunchtime. And that's going to run for 24 hours. And the tokens from the pre-sale will be vested. And that's going to be on a sliding scale depending on how much you've invested. So just to clarify that, so if you've bought up to 27 million tokens, you'll get 20% of them tokens on the launch. And then you'll get 20% a week up until you've received your 100%. If you've bought up to 44.4 million, you'll get 15% on launch and 5% a week thereafter. And up to 78 million, you get 20% on launch and then 10% a week up until you've received your full amount. So after 8 weeks, you'll have your full amount there.
Sounds great. And who's been developing the game? Is it in-house, or has some third parties built some of the game, because it's built on Unity game engine? It's a great graphics when I was playing the other day.
Yeah, that's built in-house. Some of the members of the core team are specialists in gaming and mobile gaming, that kind of thing. So we've utilised in-team, because we find one of the main issues if you go third party is you've always got that weight of the back and forth and kind of trying to give them your vision. They're going to come back with their vision of your vision, and you've kind of got to bounce back and forward until you can get that right. So by using core members of the team, they've got the same vision, so we know everything is going exactly how we want it and as quick as possible.
And what's the sort of timeline for the full game launch and the NFTs in the future? What's planned, around the times for the launch of both?
The NFTs will be hopefully Q1 of next year. So we're hoping to get them out in the first quarter of 2023. The actual game itself and the play to earn and the charity contract within that game, we're aiming at, and we should not be any longer than 2 weeks after launch. We're looking at getting it out. That's one of the main things. We wanted that to be ready. That's why we've got the game out now being tested on the website to make sure it's all running perfectly, because we want to get that charity game out as quick as possible, as that is the basis of the whole coin.
Great, Perry. Yeah, I mean, I was playing the game for an hour, so it seems like it's very smooth and there wasn't many bugs, so it's nearly ready to go. So that's awesome for investors to get involved, and they can try it out if you want to join the website. That's in our socials. And have you had a smart contracts audit on the token?
We are in the process of getting the audit done now, so that will be done pre-launch.
Awesome. And what's the marketing plans going forward? Say for the first quarter, how are you going to promote the game, the token? You can build up a really big community around the charity aspect, which is say 30-40% of the project, and then the other 30-40% is playing the game and just getting involved and helping these two charities that you picked. And you're also going to expand the charities in the future, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we will be bringing more charities on, and we will be also, before we bring new charities on, talking to the community, finding out what they feel their issues are within the environment, because we don't want to sort of say, these are the charities we believe in. We are a community-based token, so we want to say, what are the issues you guys think? What do you guys think are making a difference? What charities do you believe in? Is it Greenpeace? Is it this? Is it that? And sort of getting the vote going so that everyone can be involved in picking who we're helping, and also dealing with issues close at heart to our investors.
Awesome. And yeah, and then and the other side was the marketing plans for the next quarter to promote the game and get it out there. And
That's right. The marketing, we are looking at multi-pronged. So we will be obviously on Twitter, on Facebook, on Telegram, pushing the game. Sorry about that. Pushing the game, pushing the token, and that side of things. But we will also be having teams going onto Twitter, going onto Facebook, and talking to these environmental groups when there's news stories about the environmental groups, getting involved, chatting to people, telling them about what we're doing and how we feel that people can make a difference, and sort of trying to build people in that way. So we're not just aiming at trying to bring in the crypto community or the gaming community. We're looking at bringing in anyone who's got an interest in planting more trees, in the environment, in nature. So we want to kind of encompass everything, which is a bit I brushed on earlier about how we want to also educate people in crypto, because it's all good and well sort of going up to someone's posting about how they've glued themselves to the motorway, for example, and people are saying they don't agree with that, but they do want to do something to help. And we go, we've got this crypto. If they've never heard of crypto, it's something they've never looked at. It's pointless just jumping straight in with the crypto. So we want to be able to talk to them, educate them, tell them what we're doing, but also give them a little lesson on how crypto works, so that they think, do you know what, that is something I can actually do in my spare time to make a difference.
Definitely, Perry. I mean, yeah, there's so many opportunities there. Like say, when someone glues themselves to something, it seems to go mainstream news. It's front page, and so they're very good. These environmental groups to get their message out, and all their followers will be interested. So you can post sort of videos attached to anything that's going viral at the time around, the environment and things. It's happening all over Europe, UK, and Australia, especially. I've seen in the news, but yeah, I mean, there's many people. Are you looking to promote it, all over the world, move it over to Asia and Japan and places like that? Because I'm sure they'd want to get involved with a game that gives so much to charity.
Yeah, we already have a Japanese community. One of the great things is not just the environmental issue, but the fact that it is, say, Totoro forest based on my neighbour Totoro, that is massive in Japan. Although the film is almost as old as me, it's still a massive film out there. So the Japanese people, once they started seeing it, was just word of mouth. We didn't really. This is the first big advertising we've done. We've kept it sort of promotion free so far. It's been more word of mouth. But when Japanese investors heard about it, they've been coming over and talking to us, trying to find out more about the project. So we did actually create a Japanese only community, and that's going really well at the moment. So we do see the sort of benefits and what we've based it on. Obviously, we based it on, say, Troto Forest, say Troto Forest on my neighbour Troto, should I say, because of the vision there. But it has worked twofold because it's got such a following that people see the artwork, they see the name, and they kind of ask, well, how's this linked in with that? What's that doing? And it starts that conversation, which does help massively with the international market.
With the NFTs, will you be building around that sort of artwork? Have you got some graphic designers on board, and will there be utilities attached to the NFTs in the future?
There will be utilities attached as well as boosts and bonus and benefits towards the game. Obviously, all the artwork is going to be, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but obviously, Studio Gibraltar and Haja Rami Girosi, and I, my pronunciation is awful, so I do apologise if we've got any anime fans listening. I apologise, but I probably murdered his name there. But we are basing it on his whole story, so sort of spirited away. My neighbour Troto, the NFTs will be based on that artwork, that look, because all of his films, all of his programs, they do follow that same vibe we're trying to give, where it's humanity working with nature to ensure the sort of benefit of everyone. So we feel that the tie in there for ourselves is massive, and everything will have that look. The NFTs will follow that suit.
Awesome, Perry. Yeah, don't worry. I have the same problem. They're a bit of a tongue twister with Japanese some anime names, and around that. Let's move on to community investor questions. Let's see. Sayad, you had a question for Perry here at Save Toronto's Forest. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. I have few questions. So I have read on your website that players can exchange their collected acorns for STF tokens. So I was wondering what will be the conversion ratio? I mean, what amount of the acorns are equal to one STF token?
Exactly how many? I'll just double check that for yourself now. The worst I want to do is give you false information, and I have got it saved. Okay, I'm so sorry about the delay here, but I one of my pet hates is people answering questions off the top of their head and then being wrong. I like to make sure that it is correct. I'm so sorry about this.
No problem. No problem.
We could always go back to that one, Perry, if you had another question.
Yeah,
Uh,
So,
yeah,
yeah, if we can
yeah.
come
I
back
can
to
move
that,
to the
I
next one.
just
Yeah,
want to
sure.
bring up, make sure I give the right
Okay.
information.
Yeah, yeah, it's understandable. Okay, I can see that on your website that you will be making donations to the team trees for planting trees and to the WWF for protecting wildlife. So it got me thinking that if any community member wants to conduct any tree planting campaign or awareness session in their region, will you also be supporting them?
Yeah, we will be, as we bring more charities on, we will be giving that community vote. So if you've got something going on in your local area or your local community, feel free to let us know in the group via message. And then when we do the vote for the next charity, we will push that, let people know what you're doing or what's happening in your area so that the community can vote and decide whether that's what they want to move with or something in another community. Because our main focus is obviously on the investors, on you guys, and what's close to your hearts. So local projects, feel free to post them in the group, let us know what's happening, or give us a DM, and we will put them onto the vote for the next charity.
Okay, understood. So I was just thinking that as it's holiday season, will you also be adding Christmas theme or items to the game?
Not at the moment. Unfortunately, we're launching right on top of Christmas, and we don't want to sort of risk putting updates onto it, which may cause problems just after launch. So there'll be no Christmas themes this year, but next year, holiday season, sort of Easter, and anything else that pops up will be incorporated into the game.
Okay, okay, got it. So will there be any leaderboard for the game as well?
Yeah, we will be having leaderboards and monthly and weekly competitions as well. So if you sort of win the weekly competition or the monthly competition, there will be prizes for yourself.
Okay, okay, understood. So I was also wondering, as it's a endless runner game, so how will players be able to claim all the icons collected for the STF token? How will that going to work? Or do players have to earn minimum amount of icons which can be converted to the STF token, as it's a endless runner game, and at some point the player will going to lose the game or
There will be a minimum amount. I believe that's 1,000 at the moment. So you have to collect 1,000 acorns before you can cash out. Obviously, you can carry on playing and build that up and sort of keep that building, but it will be 1,000 minimum at the moment. We
okay,
wanted
okay,
to keep
and
it where.
as the player, yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, go on, sir. I was just going to say we wanted to keep it where it keeps it competitive, but it doesn't keep it where it's kind of so high that players aren't going to reach that. So we wanted to kind of hit that happy medium where we're always going to be keeping you pushing to play the game to do your best, but everyone can reach the goal, everyone can cash out. So that's why we went for 1,000.
Okay, okay, got it. And as the player are moving or going further into the game, the difficulty level will also going to increase, right?
Yes, correct. As we move forward, the speed of the difficulty, the amount of obstacles popping up, the amount of challenges popping up will increase as you get further into the game.
Okay. And do you have any intention of maybe developing more P2E games as well, or it will be the only one game?
We may develop more in the future, but first of all, we want to make sure we've got this perfect, we've got everything working in synergy with this before we even start thinking about others. I think at the moment, too many projects split their attention between so many things and nothing ever finishes perfectly. So we want to make sure, first of all, this game's running perfect. The NFTs are working alongside that perfectly. And then when that's all working 100% and everything is as great as it can be, then we may start looking at other types of games as we move forward. But until that point, with our sole focus is on this.
Okay, it makes sense. Okay, final question. So I was thinking that in future, will you also be implementing DAO governance so the community can vote on the various aspects of the project as well?
It won't be DAO coins, it will be community votes in the Telegram group so that every member has an equal vote. Because one of the things we find with sort of DAO coins that is the more money in your pocket, the more power you've got. We're not about that. We're about one member, one vote. You're all equal in our eyes. Whether you've invested $1 or $1,000, we appreciate you the same. And we know every situation's different. So you've all got the same voice in our community. You've all got the same power, and you've all got one vote.
Understood. Thank you so much. And you guys are working on a really great cause. So best of luck. Thank you so much. Over to you, Glenn.
As per, just
Thank
to
you.
touch back on the final question, the first question. So we are looking at roughly being 1,000 acorns is roughly going to be about $10 worth of the coin.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for clearing that up, Perry. Thanks very much for the questions, Syed. And I was looking at the developer you've got. He's called Dan, and he's worked on some big projects before. Perry, Totoro, that was 35 mil market cap, and he's worked on Zelda Inu as well, which was 75 mil market cap. So does he come? I was wondering, like, is some of the team work with him, or you just got him to make the contract, or he's actually on the team? Which I imagine he is because you said he's in house developing the game. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually Dan's co-owner of this project. I've known Dan for about 2, 3 years now. Sort of helped him out a few times, always talking to him. So sort of when Zelda come out, also Baby Lamb, he's had so many good projects, but he's always been talking about the environment in the background, sort of like when things happen in Europe. He's one of the first ones to talk about it. So when he actually said he wants to do a token to tackle this problem, that's why I jumped on board. He's known Mask for a while. It's why we all got on board with that. Him and Mask, when they sort of say, this is what I wanted to do, we kind of knew it's a passion they've had for a while. So they're going to put their expertise and their passion together. And that's why so many of us joined the project.
Awesome, Perry. Yeah, it's a
But
great cause, definitely.
I think it's one of the
Go on.
things with charity tokens. If it's something the owners are passionate about, that's when it's going to move forward things up in sort of group chats. When even before this project, when we had some sort of like just friendly group chats, we'd chat about sort of everything from the football to the weather to how you are. That'd be the first ones to sort of mention when there's an environmental disaster or something like that. So their passion, we believe, will push this forward.
Definitely, Perry, and the community as well. Because you're going to have a lot of environmental people supporting the cause to help. Plant as many trees as they can around the world through the game. So, yeah, and as Dan's got that passion there, he's going to keep expanding the game to offer more to the community. So, bring as many players in as they can, and there's lots of marketing opportunities like we discussed before. So, super exciting for the team and the community. Let's open it up to Asia. Let's see, you had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. So I can see that animations on your website and your P2E game is based on anime movie My Neighbor Totoro. So it got me thinking, will it not raise any copyright issues?
We've been very careful to make sure that everything we've done is open based or has enough of a variety not to raise that issue.
Okay. Uh, I was wondering, will players be able to play the game offline as well and then connect to internet later to claim STF tokens for acorns, or it will be an online game?
At the moment, with the web based game, it is online only. Once that moves on to the Android and the iOS versions that you can download from the Play Store and the Apple Store, then you may have the option of playing offline and uploading once it goes online. But I can't 100% say that will
Okay.
be the case at the moment. That would be something I'll have to talk to the game developer about because I've got to admit that is a fantastic question and it is something we should implement. But you can play it all day offline, and then when you get home and connect to your Wi-Fi, upload your daily results. So that will be something I'll be talking to the team about implementing.
Okay. I was also thinking if any player is facing internet disconnectivity, will the player be eliminated from the game or he will be given some time to reconnect?
I believe at the moment you've got about 20, 30 seconds to reconnect before that cuts off. But obviously, as we move forward, that is something we can look at. And if we do implement the fact that you can play offline and then upload that once you go back online, obviously then being disconnected won't be an issue because it'll just continue on as an offline game. And then when you jump back online, it'll upload all your details again.
Got it. And STF tokens that will be sent to help protect the forests with the help of World Wildlife Funds and to team trees. Will you be exchanging these tokens for fiat to donate, or donations will be in STF tokens?
And for the World Wildlife Federation, it will be exchanged to fiat because they only accept fiat at the moment. And for Team Trees, it'll be changed into one of the cryptos they accept, and that will be donated as crypto. So at the moment, each project will be different with the WWF receiving fiat, but Team Trees accept crypto. So the donation then will be crypto. At the moment, they don't accept STF, but that is something we hope as we make more and more donations to them and sort of raise our profile with themselves and sort of say, look, this is what we're doing monthly. We're giving you X amount. Hopefully, in the future, they will say, well, we'll take your token. But at the moment, we will exchange it to a token they accept.
Okay, it makes it clear now. But one thing, last thing from my side, I was thinking, do you have any account set in place on donations, Web2 sites like DonorBox, Kickstarter, or GoFundMe, so that people can also make donations in fiat who want to contribute and are not familiar with crypto?
At the moment, we haven't got anything set up for fiat donations. as to cut out the middleman, we would say if you're donating fiat at the moment, it's better donate straight to the project yourself. We don't want to say give it to us and we'll give it to them, just to make ourselves look better, because it's about getting that money to the charities as quick as possible. So if you wanted to make a fiat donation, just go to the site, make that donation to that charity, and get that money moving and working for the environment as quick as possible. But as we move forward, it may be something we look at. But personally, I'd say fiat donations are better off going straight to the charity themselves, because it just cuts out the middleman, it cuts out any delay. Because the way things move at the moment, a 30-day delay could make a difference. And if you're going to give fiat, give that straight to that charity. But on the crypto side, stick with us and we will ensure that we're giving as much as we can via crypto to the charities as well.
Okay, that makes sense. I got all my questions answered. Thank you so much for answering. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you so much for your questions, and thank you so much for the tip about the offline play. That is something we will definitely look at implementing.
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Aisha. Let's move to Venice. You had a question for Save Totoro's Forest with Perry. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Glenn. Glenn. Okay, I have a couple of the questions. Perry, I think you guys are doing some really great work for the forest and for wildlife. So it got me thinking that in some parts of the world, people only depend on the woods they cut and sell in the market. I mean, their whole livings or their earning is dependent on the woods they cut and sell in the market. So how do you think this project can help these kind of people so they don't need to cut the woods and return and in return of some money, so that they get something that they can earn some money out from it and they don't need to cut the woods for earning some money?
Okay, it's one of the great things about the game. To touch back on the game, it's free to play, and you do have the opportunity of bringing money out to your own wallet. So if you've got a spare hour this evening, spare hour one evening, you can sit there and play that game, earn money. You will also be donating 50% of what you earn to the charity, but you'll be receiving 40% back for yourself as well. So it'll ensure that people have also got a stream of income. If you can get online, or even if we implement the offline gaming where when you come online, you can then just go online, upload your data. If you can go online for sort of a minute, even, you've got the opportunity of earning and giving to charity at the same time. So I believe that can help people that are living day to day, sort of hand to mouth, and giving them an option of doing something in their spare time whilst they're at home to earn. And also, obviously, the environment is our main factor. But as we grow, we will be looking at providing for people. We do understand that at the moment, even first world countries are suffering and people are living really hard lives at the moment. Everything's going up. People are living day to day. So obviously, we're an environmental based project, but as we grow and as we're bringing more volume in and more money in, and we're giving more and more to the charity, we will then start looking at charities to help people across the world who are living hard lives, who may not have enough food, may not be able to switch the heating on at night, may not even have somewhere to live. So the environment is our main aim, but we will look at benefiting humanity, which is what everyone should be doing. And that'll be something we'll look at as we grow and as we build towards the future.
Yeah, yeah, I believe this is a great initiative for everyone, for everybody that you mentioned some of the plans, and they're gonna work in future. So I was thinking that is there any plan to also do charity to the people who contact you and provide evidence that they are really doing some great work for wildlife, as well as running some local animal shelters for dogs or for other animals, and they need some financial assistance in doing that? So would you guys be accepting those proposals as well?
As we grow, at the moment we've got the two charities, but we will be adding more charities to that, and that'll be done by community vote. So what we will suggest people do is, as we get closer to these events, and we say like in a week's time we're going to be adding a new charity, please either message it in the group or send us a direct message ourselves. Let us know about charities or charity work happening in your area or that you're involved in, and we can add them to the poll. And then it'll be up to the community to decide where that money goes, because it's the community's money, it's the investors' money. But small charities, small initiatives, people helping will be things we'll be adding onto these polls as well. So if you're doing something in your local area and the community get behind that, there's no reason why we wouldn't add that if it won the poll.
Okay, understood. And how do you guys plan to spread awareness and onboard non-crypto community? I know that you mentioned some of the things, but I'm asking that if you guys have any plans to go to those physical places and spread awareness or spread education and onboard non-crypto gamers as well. Like we can see that non-crypto players are a lot. There's a huge percentage of non-crypto gamers as compared to crypto gamers. So how do you think that you can bring them to toward this game and let them know that they can play the game as well as they can help other people and they can help forest in and weather to make it better?
Yeah, we've got a lot of the team members on things like Discord, which is great with the gaming community and involved in gaming. A lot of the developers that worked on the game side of the project and made this game possible are also big in gaming communities. They do a lot of gaming themselves as well when they're not working. They're sort of sitting in front of the PC, in front of the Xbox, in front of the PlayStation. So they will be talking to their communities and the gaming communities and just not heavily pushing, because we find people don't like it when you try to shove something new down their throat, but they'll just be talking and generally mentioning what we're doing so that more and more people start asking, well, what is that? How does that work? How do I earn that money? And then you've got that conversation going. And once you've got the conversation going, that is half the battle won. So we feel that people talking to their own communities, our gaming, the members of our team that are in the gaming community, just chatting to their community, letting them know what we're doing, and that is going to raise a lot of awareness for people that aren't involved in crypto but are involved in gaming.
Okay, understood. And I have a few questions regarding gameplay. So I was thinking that will there be anything other than the icons, like an object that can increase the tokens by 2x for a few seconds or make the jump higher for a few seconds, like we have in Subway Surfer?
Yeah, at the moment we've got sort of bundles. So you've got bundle acorns, and you've also got enemies that once you roll through defeat, they'll increase the amount of acorns you collect. But as we move forward, we will be looking at boosts, and that will also play heavily into the NFT side of things. So some of your NFTs will give you an X amount of boost for X amount of seconds, or X amount of extra higher jumps, extra rolls. So the boosts will be coming into the project and the multipliers as it moves forward. So you may get sort of an NFT, it gives you 4 seconds of 3x multiplier or something along them lines. And you can play that whenever you want, play it at the best time that you feel, and it'll give you that boost. But that is all stuff that will be coming up in the future once the game has been fully released on Android and iOS.
Okay, understood. And will there be any bonus levels in the game where there isn't any obstacle and players just need to collect objects as much as they can in certain time so that they can get more rewards, or is there any certain level that, like, if I clear 10 levels and I get a bonus level where I can collect more rewards as compared to other normal levels?
There may be in the future. At the moment, that's not involved in the game, and we haven't got that set up. But there may be bonus levels as we start developing the game. And first and foremost, we want to get the core game working perfectly and out on all platforms so everyone can play it. And then once we've got past that hurdle and we're moving into the next phase, that's when we can start looking at bonus levels, maybe even sort of bosses. Every couple of levels, you get a boss pop up, and if you can get past the boss, you get X amount. But these are things we're bringing to the game once it is fully developed and once it's fully running across all platforms so everyone can get involved. As we'd hate to release something, for example, if it was only available on Android and the web, would then wouldn't want to start releasing bonus levels when iOS customers can't get involved. So we want to make sure we're out on all platforms first, and then we can look at expanding that game, adding more to it.
Okay, and I think after playing the game a lot, players normally lose their interest and move to other new games. So, is there any plan to also launch other mini games that players can keep themselves committed to your project and they can keep on playing and enjoying the other games as well?
We have spoke about other mini games and other full games, but obviously we don't want to even start sort of planning other stuff until we've got the first thing correct. Because we find at the moment too many projects have too many ideas all at once, and now have an idea for this, an idea for that, and nothing gets completed to perfection. So our first aim is to get the first game working perfectly, running perfectly, and the NFT boosters working perfectly with that. And then once that's all done, then we can start looking at the next idea and the next levels, other games. But we want to make sure we get each step completed to perfection before we even think about the next thing, because we don't want to sort of have our minds split. But okay, we're working on this game now, but we also want to start thinking about this game. We want to get this game perfect and then move on to this game, then move on to this idea. So at the moment, we're only concentrating on the one game. But once that's done, we will be looking at others in future.
Okay, and thank you so much. It's been really great talking to you. And while reading your about your project, it is really a great idea. It is a really a great initiative to help the weather and help the ecosystem and community and people. So it's a fun playing game. And thank you so much for answering my all questions as well.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen this evening and for your questions.
Thank you for your questions, Venice. Let's move to Syed. You had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead. You there, Syed? No. Let's move to D. Luffy. You had a question for Perry at Saving
Hello, can you hear me?
Totoro's Forest. We can, yeah.
So my question is, most of the project appears to be great only in their white paper and roadmap, but they face various problems when attempting to implement the project mission and eventually collapse. How does your project overcome every challenge in the development of its project?
It's a fantastic question. It's something. It's one of the things I've been saying about crypto at the moment. But so many projects sound great on paper, but in practicality they just don't work. And one of the things we've done is we've made sure that every obstacle we can think of, we've got someone in the team, someone in our environment that can actually deal with that problem. So be that the marketing, the startup, where we've got Mask who's been working in startup companies for so long. We've got game developers in house and part of the core team. We've made sure we've got a developer who's not only passionate about the project, but is passionate about the beliefs behind it and the environment. So for us, really, there's no obstacle we can see that we can't overcome. One of the main obstacles we find with these kind of charity projects is people that build up big wallets, and then when it's time to make the charity donation, they have to sell that wallet. They'll dump that wallet, and it just dumps the chart, which causes panic amongst investors. Everyone's selling, and that kind of kills the project. So we've thought about that, and that's why we're going to be strategically. I'm so sorry about my pronunciations, and we'll be strategically selling from the donation wallet as the chart. We won't be selling on dips. We'll be making sure that the charity wallet is converting to what's needed to be converted to at the right time to make sure the project carries on growing and that there's no harm at all to our own charts.
Okay, so I have another question. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine, mate.
Okay. What are the security measures that have been made so far to make the platform secure for hackers? As the hackers are nowadays getting more stronger to steal the data of the investors.
Okay, so if that's about charity wallets, all the wallets will be multi-signature, so you don't have to worry about sort of if one hacker gets in, he's going to need the keys from other people, which eliminates the problems that side, and which just ensures that hackers can't get into that. The game itself will be have protection. Obviously, it's very hard for a hacker to get inside the game when they're going to try to cash that out because we can keep an eye on transactions, and if something doesn't look right, we can just stop that straight away. So if someone's sort of trying to claim from the game they've made $1 million, we can straight away see that's not right and stop that straight away. And then for
Okay.
another level of security, the team has also gone through KYC to make sure that people know who we are, and basically the buck stops with us and you know who we are. So there's no anonymity, there's no hiding behind anything. We've all put our names to this, we've all put our faces to this, and this is what we believe in.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side.
Well, thank you so much for your questions this evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the questions, D. Luffy. Let's move to Mariam. Mariam, you had a question for Perry at Safe Totoro's Forest. Go ahead. Mariam? No, let's move to Lord K. Lord K, you had a question for Perry at Safe Totoro's Forest.
Hi guys, how's it going then?
Good.
Yeah. So my question is like an out of the box question. I would like to know what challenges have they been able to face and overcome as they are going through this project, because most project all comes with challenges, and I would like to know what challenges they've gone through and how they've been able to overcome this challenge.
I do love that question. That is one of the questions because everyone always wants to talk about what's going well, but no one ever wants to mention problems they faced and what they've dealt with. So I will say one of the first problems we had was we decided to have the play to earn game, but it was how to keep that running with the charity aspect of the game, because obviously if players are taking out the profits themselves, unfortunately a lot of players just see profit. So we wanted to make sure sort of how can we keep this charitable. So that's when we decided obviously to have that when you cash out of the project, you are still drawing money into the charity. And that's why we've done it where if you draw out the money yourself and you want to collect that money yourself, you're taking 40%, with 50% going towards the charity, 10% going towards the taxes, and just to ensure that that charity side of the project is still pushed. Another challenge we had was obviously we wanted to ensure that we didn't come across as just another crypto project. There's so many projects that mention charity, but they're only charity in name, and everything is all crypto based. So we wanted to ensure that when we're talking to our community, we want to make sure they're on board and they understand that these are the problems we see with the world at the moment, and we want to try to create a solution. And that was the biggest problem, was convincing people that we want you to make money, but we want you to make money ethically, where your profit is not only profiting yourself, but it's profiting the world itself, it's profiting the environment, it's profiting the animals, the forests. So the biggest hurdle at first was convincing people that we wasn't just trying to make another crypto project. It wasn't just another coin with charity in the name. It was actually something where charity is the core and the main principle of that project. And once we started talking to people and getting them to understand where we're coming from, understand how we're putting the charity into every aspect of everything, from be it your NFTs, from your gameplay, from you actually buying the token, from you selling the token, everything is going to benefit the charity, and that's what we believe should be happening. We're not trying to say people shouldn't earn money, because we want everyone to make a profit, but we want you to make a profit whilst you're actually also helping a great cause. And that was the biggest hurdle, getting people to understand where we're coming from, and that we wasn't just about profit, we wasn't just about crypto, but we actually overcome that by just spending time talking to people and just saying this is what we feel, this is what we believe, and then they were firing questions. And once you've got that conversation going in the group, you've got the chats going, you've got people listening to what you're saying, they're giving their verdicts, they're saying how they feel about these kind of topics and environments. And then people understand that you are pushing for something bigger, and we did get over that hurdle quite early.
Oh, great stuff, man. You really did well. Your challenges were kind of interesting though, but it's cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you for the question, Lord. Let's move to Crypto Adam. You had a question for Perry at Save Tutorials Forest. Go ahead. Are you there, Crypto Adam? No. Let's move to Jabenga. Jabenga, you had a question for Perry at Save Tutorials Forest. Go ahead.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Yeah,
I'm good, man. Hi, Perry. Thanks for the opportunity. This is a great project. I love the idea. I must be sincere. I just have a question with respect to what is happening in the crypto space now. I wish in crypto space we having new investors day by day, and which invest all these investors need to be educated. They need to have something that will keep them checking the website, even if it is on Telegram, just a motivator, and stuff like that. And this education has to do with different languages, different countries when it comes to resource space. I'm just kind of curious, what are the things you put in place to make sure you get these people involved into your project, and with respect to languages, so that there won't be a barrier. People that we have different communities like Chinese community, other communities like that, so that these are the things that will keep investors, that will motivate investors into your project, like educational video or things that I think is very unique in the project, put it in a video or stuff like that. I'm just kind of curious that this kind of strategies that will attract investors. What are the plans to have them?
okay. On that, we've got a lot of communities for the certain area and language base. For example, our CIS group, which is the Commonwealth of Independent States, that's all like Eastern Europeans and some of the Asian states. We've got a group just for them. We've got an Indonesian group. We've got a Chinese group. We've got a Japanese group. We've just opened. We're looking at Turkish groups. We're keeping a lot of groups. We understand a lot of people. English isn't their first language, and whilst you can just simply go on to translate and translate a group, it's not that easy and it's not that fun. If you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to just have a little chat, you don't want to keep bouncing back and forth, translate, translate. So once we've got a certain members of group from one area, we do build the community for them. And at the moment, our Japanese group and our CIS group, they are just as active and they are just as big as our main group. And I feel that's very important. It's understanding that English isn't the first language for everyone. So people need to be able to talk. And it might not even be about the project. Sometimes in the group, we can spend hours just chatting about other things. It might not be about the environment. It might not be about crypto. It might not be about our project itself, just about general life. And I feel that's very important to keep people engaged. You need to just have a group where people want to come, they want to chat, spend time with friends, because friendship is very important. And if English isn't your first language, sometimes it is hard to be in an English language group. If you're sort of trying to chat with someone and you're bouncing back and forth, translate back to the group, translate back to the group. So we want to make sure there's accessible groups for every community available. And that's why we've got so many different language groups, just to keep people engaged. Obviously, the admin will come together. We make sure the same, if there's important messages to spread, that's passed across every group at the same time. But it's about making sure the investors are happy, they're comfortable, or even non-investors, even just people that want to sort of have a little look, have a little chat and find out more about us. But they've got somewhere where they're happy to talk, happy and comfortable. And that, I feel, is the main thing. As no matter how great a project is, if investors don't feel comfortable, they're not going to stay engaged and they're not going to be with you for the long run. So we're making sure everyone is comfortable where they are and are happy with the way things are going.
How okay, awesome. I like the idea. It really shows you're getting prepared for this project, and I love the concept. Just lastly, I would just love to know, like, okay, the team behind the project. Fine, we've actually know a little about you with respect to what you discussed in the Amma. I'm just kind of curious, like, are you guys planning on renouncing of ownership? Because this are the things that we just have to have a forgo concept on it, so that we won't just know, okay, the kind of project we are aping into. This is at the type of project, okay, we should buy it to the idea for a very long time, or I should just put my money just for a little time, stuff like that. Are you planning of renouncing the ownership, or what are your plans with respect to the team for a very long go and the relationship with the team, especially?
Okay, that is a great question. For myself personally, the answer is no. We're not planning on renouncing the ownership, and there's a good reason for that. Renouncing the ownership is more of what you see on degen coins. We're looking at long runs, so as we grow, as things move forward, we may need to make tweaks. It may be a tweak to the tokenomics, the tax. It may be the fact that we're moving on to an exchange as we grow, as this coin gets bigger. So by renouncing the ownership, it means you can't make any changes needed for growth. It means you've basically given away the whole contract. There's nothing you can do. If there's any problems in the future, if anything needs to be changed, if you're joining an exchange, these are things you can't do once you renounce that ownership. So we're not looking at renouncing the ownership. What we have done is we've fully doxed. That means everyone involved in this has put their name out there. They're, for example, Pink Cell has got the address of a lot of the core members. We're making sure our details are known. So we can't do anything without people going, hey, that's you. I know where you are. I know who you are. So there's nothing we can do really without giving ourselves away. But the renouncing the contract for myself, it's more of a play when you haven't got long term ambitions. 5 years from now, 6 years from now, we still aim to be helping the community, helping the environment. So if we give away the contract now and we can't make any changes as things grow, that kind of kills off that longevity. Whereas for ourselves, we want you to be able to invest in this and invest for the long foreseeable future. So we will be looking after that contract and making sure it is kept how it needs to be kept.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for your questions this evening.
Thank you, Jabanga, for the question. Let's move to Alan. You had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, Alan. Yeah, we can hear you. I think there's some music in the background, but are you there? We can come back to Alan. Let's Bigo, you had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me just go straight to my question. So my question is really about the liquidity of your project. So my question is liquidity pool are used to facilitate decentralized financial lending staking. And we have seen that liquidity has become an important part of many ecosystem. Many projects run into liquidity problem. What liquidity system will your project use to increase the token value? I don't really know if you got a question.
Okay, I think I've got the gist of that. If I'm answering the wrong thing here, please just correct me. But the liquidity obviously is important, and that's why we are putting some of the pre-sale profits, we are putting some of the profits into the liquidity to make sure that that's a healthy pool, as well as I'm so sorry about that, as well as making sure that the taxes are paying into the liquidity. So for every time someone buys, every time someone sells, every time someone exchanges tokens on the game, 2% will be going into liquidity to make sure that that stays healthy.
Uh, okay. You really did answer my question. You answered my question I just wanted to know about the buying and selling of your token transaction. How will market fluctuation be dealt with in this case? I don't really know if you got that. Which one should I come again?
I'm so sorry, I broke up a little bit at the end there. Was that how we're going to market the game?
Like I want to know about the buying and selling of your token transaction. How will market fluctuation be dealt with in this case?
Okay, we understand people are always going to be buying and selling, and we don't believe there's nothing wrong with people selling. And we hope people are intelligent and sell smartly so that you're not dumping the chart yourself. But we have took into account that obviously, depending on the growth, people are going to sell. There are going to be people there that don't look at it that I'm going to sell 20% now, keep 8%, sell 20% later, 20%, 20%, 20%. Some people are just going to see a quick profit and dump their whole bags. And that's where the taxing comes into play. Obviously, every time someone sells, they're adding to the liquidity pool, which helps stop fluctuation. The higher liquidity, it means the coin's going to be more stable. It also means you're adding not only to the charity, but you're adding to the marketing budget so that we can keep pushing this forward, keep putting it in front of more eyes so that when people leave, more people can join. So we understand market fluctuation is something that's going to happen. The chart's not just going to carry on shooting up every single day. We're realists at heart. And we understand there are going to be days when people are selling. There's going to be days when people are buying. But the key is to make sure that we are still pushing this. We're putting it under new noses. We're getting the message out there. We're not just going to the same old channels on Telegram and pushing the news. We're pushing it on Telegram. We're pushing it on Twitter. We're coming under different streams. We're hitting news articles. We're hitting things like that so that more people are seeing it and coming in every day. And we believe that once people understand the message and what we're actually doing, more people will be coming in. And then when people leave, they're going to be taken, their positions are going to be taken up by new investors, and we are going to be keep going forward. And then on top of that, you've got the game as well. And obviously, gaming is a big access point. We haven't got an over complex game. It is a beautifully designed game, and it is once you start playing, you can spend an hour on that without even thinking about it. And that's going to attract people that aren't even knowledgeable, aren't even interested in crypto. They're going to get playing the game. They're going to see it on the Apple Store. They're going to see it on the Play Store. They're going to start playing that, and that's when they're going to get the message about what Safe Toronto Forest is. And then they are going to be coming over, and we're going to help educate them on crypto. So we're looking at bringing in people from all spheres, be them environmentalists, be them crypto enthusiasts, be them gamers. So people will sell, and we will be bringing more people in to take up them spots. So the fluctuations will happen, but we believe everything will be going in the right direction at all times.
Right, I think you've answered my girl's question. I had to mute because there was some background noise there. Let's move to Western Beast. You had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. All right. I wanted asking, you said at some point, I saw during your in your website, the YouTube preview, that you guys not just intend to do some reforestation practices, but you also want to keep the forest clean. While keeping the forest as foresty as possible is a good thing, keeping it clean is a different thing altogether. Why did you point out an obvious need for not ensuring just reforestation, but also keeping the forest clean?
By clean, we're talking about things like pollutants, things happening in the forest. For example, it's not just about the cutting down of the forest. It's when there's factories, plantations, things moving into the forest. That pollution obviously affects the wildlife. It affects the trees. It affects that whole environment, and that is just as important as rebuilding the forest. You've got to make sure that the forest still there is protected, as pollution kills trees. There's no two ways about that. And when you've got areas that are allowing factories, they're allowing sort of diesel, they're allowing fumes, they're allowing pollutants into the forest, into the soil. that is causing problems. So we need to ensure that not only are we replanting the forest, but we're actually protecting what we've got at the moment, as it's pointless having a forest if that's polluted and is dying. So we don't only want to sort of rebuild new forests, plant new trees, we also want to protect what's there. And that's why for us, keeping the forest clean is very important.
Answer there, Weston? Have we lost you? Maybe we lost Weston. Let's go back to, let's see, return of energy GAD. You had a question for Perry at Save Totoro's Forest. Go ahead. No? Okay. We've had lots of questions tonight. It's been great. Everyone asking today. So maybe we can do a recap, Perry, on Save Totoro's Forest for anyone who's joined the call. Later on, we do get people coming in at a half an hour and an hour mark. So yeah, if we could just do a recap over the project, that'd be great.
That's brilliant. So just to sort of quickly recap, we're Save Totoro's Forest, and we're a charity-based token with strong beliefs in protecting the environment and the wildlife. So we're not just saying we're a charity-based contract or charity-based project. Everything we do, every step of the way, we are thinking of how we benefit the whole continent, the whole Earth itself. So be that the play-to-earn game, which looks fantastic, that every time you withdraw money from that, you have an option of withdrawing to your own wallet and money will be going to charity, or you can donate the whole lot to charity. Every time you buy and sell, money will be going to charity. And in future, when the NFTs are live, that will also be benefiting the charity. And so basically, we're designed and based out of a love of environmental projects, environmental issues. And because, say, Troco's Forest ties in very heavily with the anime feel on our artwork, and we have based ourselves alongside the film from a while ago called Save My Neighbor Toto. If you haven't seen that, it's basically about how humanity and nature can work together, which is the core of our beliefs. And we've had a private sale, and them coins are vested, and we have got the fair launch coming up very soon. That's coming up on the 21st. Tokens will be vested on that. And then the pancake swap launch is on the 23rd of December. Um, the pre-sale and the launch will be taking place at 5 p.m. UTC. I believe that's at 12 o'clock lunchtime EST, and we will in the group add international times for everyone as well to keep that a bit simpler. But in a nutshell, that is pretty much the project and our beliefs.
Awesome, Perry. I think we've got Western Beast back. You was asking a question that Perry answered, but I think you lost connection. Are you there, Weston?
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Glenn. Okay, so I was also asking about, these influencers that you actually have. Now, I wanted asking, what requirements do these influencers actually have to meet? Would they have to, be of the same belief in support against moves about climate change like you, or is it that they just need to have a lot of followers?
No, it is a mixture of both. So we'll have to be quite influential. There have to be people that, for example, if it's a Twitter influencer, they will have to have a good following on Twitter, or if they're YouTubers, a good following on YouTube. But they will also have to have the same core beliefs ourselves, as we don't want to just be having people on the team that are just there for a payday, just there to make a profit. They've got to have that same belief, as otherwise the message gets diluted, and it's not what we're about. We're not about just pushing another crypto. We're about pushing the fact that we do need to start making a difference, and we do want to make what we call an ethical profit, where you're making money, but you're also raising awareness. You're also making sure that differences and changes are happening. So any influencer wants to be involved with ourselves, we will be talking to them. Ideally, it'd be influencers we already know, so we know that your views align with ourselves. if we are looking at a new influencer who we don't know, we'll be talking to them and spending time getting to know them, getting to know their beliefs, and making sure that they have got the same vision as ourselves before we allow them to take part in the project.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks so much for answering my questions. I do have a few more, but I'll still need to arrange my train of thoughts. I'm wishing you guys the very best, and I really hope that the Save Toronto's project stays bullish moonward. Thank over to you, Glenn.
Okay,
Just let you know, if you do, oh, sorry, Glenn.
yeah, no,
I was just going to say, if he does have any more questions pop up, feel free to join the group and just ask in there. There's always someone about to answer questions, and there's no question we won't answer. So if you sort of after this AMA think, oh, I should have asked that, just jump over, ask us, and we'll answer that straight away.
great. Yeah, it's been great speaking to Perry from Save Totoro's Forest today. It's a great idea, great charity idea, a great game that I've been playing. So I'm really looking forward to the fair launch and all the community investors can get involved here if they wish to. We always say, check out, do your research, look at the website, the white paper, the official socials. They're in our main chat. If you've got any questions after the AMA today, we can get you safely over there because you can just use their main chat socials because they're the official ones. Don't go looking for them anywhere else. And yeah, it's been great speaking to you today, Perry. But we've got 4 $25 winners today for community questions because we had lots of questions today, so that's great. Everyone got involved and was really interested in the Save Totoro's Forest. I mean, I imagine it could be from the ecological side, with the forest preservation and planting trees. It's an amazing idea, and I'm looking forward to the future for the community and team. Thank you very much for coming, Perry.
And thank you so much for having us this evening. It's been great being here and chatting to your community.
Perry, yeah, I'll finish the record and send over a copy for you to share with your community. I'll send that into our main chat for our community investors, and take care.
Thank you very much for this evening.
Thank you very much.
Just have a great night.